And now once again, we're going to go for another move up the inside, maybe of this corner. Oh no, we opt for the outside, but look at the speed of the Ferrari. Right around the outside, we leave Gasly the space, but there's nothing that the Frenchman can do about that. And Turbo 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, we're back on career mode for our F1 2020 career driving for the Tifosi. And guys, this episode we are heading towards a track that is very much hated in real life, but on the game it provides some scintillating action. We are heading to Le Castellet for the French Grand Prix, so be a boss and smash that like down below. It's only going to take you a nifty 2 seconds. Now guys, heading in towards this episode, you guys know if you watched the previous career mode episode that we in Ferrari are slowly but surely edging closer to Mercedes, but so far this season we have had the edge over Mercedes. And if you guys saw the thumbnail, Mercedes are already starting to get a bit desperate. We are the best chassis, we've got the best aero, we are just lacking slightly behind in the engine department. So in this episode, we are going to be upgrading the engine. I think I upgraded the ERS. I didn't think I went for fuel efficiency because I feel the Ferrari's engine is really not bad when it comes to fuel efficiency. So yeah, we're going for the ERS, the energy recovery system, and now we are ready to, we're not going to get the upgrade this episode. The upgrade will only come in the next episode. But it's looking good here at Ferrari, and I'm sure we're keeping the team's name high. We are really far in front with the constructors as well as the drivers, guys. I've just had a phenomenal season thus far. Haven't said a foot wrong yet, but we all know luck eventually ends, and we never know when. Guys, make sure to go check out the links in the description down below. If you want to give this video or my channel a shout out, please don't hesitate to do that. Just make sure you tag me in the post or the story, and I will give you a shout out in a future video. As well as on my social media. Heading into this weekend, guys, I'm going for a balanced tire choice. I want to have a fair amount of mediums because Le Castellet is really hard on your soft compound tires, so it tends to eat them up a bit. The mediums are a really good race and quality tire, actually, if you can get a good lap in, and the hards, they just don't have any grip whatsoever. This is one of the tracks where the hards really they don't suit my driving style. Now, heading towards the performance chart, guys, you guys can see we are so close to Mercedes, not even funny. If they do not upgrade again while we bring in this engine upgrade, we will be quicker than Mercedes. We are like overall, because we already have beaten them in the aero and chassis department, but they've just really got a strong power unit behind them. So Mercedes really own that part of the R&D chart. Then you've got racing points in P3 with Red Bull P4, Renault very close behind in P5. Renault have been doing phenomenal this season. Then you've got AlphaTauri in P6. McLaren in P7, and then as usual Alfa Romeo, Haas and Williams. You guys see this is just in practice one. I had a little bit of a moment there coming through the second corner, well, the first chicane, but the second corner, and yeah, just lost it a bit. But other than that, it was actually quite a nice practice. That was, I think, with my race program, so I had to restart that. But like I said, nothing that broke my confidence whatsoever. So without further ado, it's time for quali. Let's head to Le Castellet and see where we can place this Ferrari on the grid. Jumping straight towards the end of our first run in qualifying, guys. Remember, career mode, I only do a short quali session, one session for all the cars, 18 minutes. It's ride or die. So we come across the line, not the best first lap, I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit rusty. We come home in P5, which is not too bad, but when we go out for our second run on the mediums, you guys actually see when I got to the line, I actually lifted off the throttle because I wanted to see what I could do on the mediums, maybe, give myself a bit of an edge when the race starts. We were P13 by the end of it, and now as we come across the line, we got a better hard time, but only because we backed off of the throttle, and it's still only P13.
This lap then, come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Thank you, Jeff. That is the idea. And so, guys, for the end of quali, I am going to have to use a second set of soft tires, which I don't mind. I don't mind at all. But I really hope that the mediums would be a better tire because.
All clear the garage, please. Car ready to leave.
For the reason being, the softs you guys are going to see when the race commences. The softs, they overheat immensely easily, and the front end grip falls away by end lap 4. Like really, no, start lap 4, end of lap 3. The softs really aren't a good race tire here around France, even though the soft tire looks the best in the Ferrari. I mean, red, I mean, it looks fantastic, but it's not the preferred race tire to be on. You really want to run the mediums as long and as far as you can. But because we're going to qualify on the softs, I can guarantee you guys it's going to be a 2-stop from softs to mediums for myself. I always take it a bit risky and they try soft mediums, but I'd rather take the safe route and bank a good amount of points than go soft, ruin my race and come out of the points, because some of the drivers, the softs are so bad you're gonna go soft hards. You're gonna be forced, otherwise you're gonna have to make a 3-stop. So soft, medium, best way to go. Now coming towards the end of our final lap in quali, you guys can see I'm not really up by much, only 2/10. So you guys can see that first lap, which I honestly thought was really scruffy and rusty, wasn't bad. And remember, this is now the lap on the medium tires, not even, and I didn't match my first lap with the softs on the mediums when it came to the corners. So this lap, because I felt this was a phenomenal lap, but the track grip must have gone down or something, because I'm barely gaining any time. 4/10 now as we come through the final corner. I don't get the exit that I want, but it's DRS open to the line, and it's going to be P.
Qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3. Bottas, Ocon and Lewis Hamilton. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race. Hello and welcome to the Circuit Paul Ricard, current home of the French Grand Prix, an event dating all the way back to 1906. It's been held at many venues over the years, with famous moments from Dijon and Manicourt the feature of many a highlights reel. And let's hope we see more of those in the race today. The Circuit Paul Ricard then, a 3.6-mile track, 25 miles east of Marseille. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, with the main overtaking chance expected going into turn 8. Top speeds today should be around 205 miles per hour. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Can we begin by having a chat about Charles Leclerc? There's a new gearbox in the back of that car, which means a grid penalty, and hopefully some excitement as they make their way through the field.
Well, at the end of the day, it's always better to take some pain now than parking it up halfway through the Grand Prix. Let's just hope they can put that new gearbox to good use and get the results they're looking for.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and it's Esteban Ocon in P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Vettel, Daniel Ricciardo, and Stroll, Parker, Albon, Perez, and Daniel Kvyat, Gasly, Norris, Carlos Sainz, and Verstappen, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Kimi Raikkonen, and Nicholas Latifi. Russell and Charles Leclerc completes today's grid order. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Oh, no. We're going to try and keep our podium runs going. You guys can see the default strategy is soft, mediums. I'm telling you guys now, I'm going to go soft, mediums, even though I select the soft, medium strategy. I'm just saying. And guys, from now on this game, nothing gets run less than 110 AI. My team, career mode, F2, everything is 110. I've officially made that decision. So please pray for me. P7, it's going to be hard to get a podium today. But before we go for the podium, let's jam.
You say you feel lonely.
Guys, are you guys ready for the French Grand Prix? There's a Frenchman on the front row for a French team, and it's go for the French Grand Prix. Esteban Ocon and Valtteri Bottas alongside each other on the front row. It's a good getaway for the Renault driver, while Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc are going to try and come from behind. Charles Leclerc, for Sebastian Vettel. Sorry, my mistake. Vettel and Hamilton side by side. Ocon and Bottas side by side. Esteban Ocon takes the lead from Valtteri Bottas. A French driver is leading the French Grand Prix for a French team. I don't think he can get any better than that. Let's see what Ocon can do here today. You guys can see Vettel and Hamilton are still squabbling away very fiercely there, and I'm trying to get into the mix here, but that was an absolutely sensational start there from the Renault driver of Esteban Ocon. You can see I'm behind Perez and his teammate Ricciardo. I absolutely bolt off of the line. I have to say, with the recent update on the F1 game, the AI's starts have been fixed. They are not so, I wouldn't say underpowered, but they are a lot stronger. Not overpowered, not underpowered. Perfect start ratio. So Cody's keep this up. Well done. You can see here's Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, he actually pushes Vettel there. That's a bit of dirty driving from the 7-time world champion there. He actually shoved Vettel to the outside there, and that doesn't sit fine in my book. But not the point. You guys can see here, we actually go through this next part, and now because Hamilton had a very compromised exit onto the back straight, we are now right behind them. But like I said, guys, the Mercedes is an absolute animal in a straight line. It's nearly 3 wide. It is Hamilton. That is your just deserves for hitting Vettel. I don't know what Hamilton did there, guys. It looked to me like he tried to force Vettel off the track, which I think he did. But in the process, he broke his own front wing. Well done, Hamilton. Well done. GG's, boy. GG's. So, guys, Hamilton is officially no longer a threat in this race. So it's myself versus my teammate versus the second Mercedes of Bottas versus Esteban Ocon. And guys, look at this. He's pulling away from Valtteri. Look at this. Ocon is on a mission. Guys, look, there's one thing I've learned after all my years of being an absolute F1 fanatic. There's something special about winning your home Grand Prix. It's not just special, it's something spectacular. And I think that switch has just flipped in Esteban Ocon's head, and he is like, I'm not letting go of this. If these guys want it, they're going to have to fight for it. And then you guys see Hamilton. He's going to be far, far away in last place. Obviously, I don't think Hamilton's going to finish last. That Mercedes is an absolute beast. So I don't think he's going to get points, but he's definitely not going to finish in last place with cars like Williams, Alfa Romeo, and Haas, which are absolutely nowhere. Now, you guys can see Hamilton bumps Vettel there for a second time, and then he just forces Vettel over that inside curb for no reason. Guys, look at me on the outside. I mount the outside curb, and I leave them about a car and a half's space on the left-hand side. Look, I can understand that Hamilton got startled by me coming from the outside. Then he bumps Vettel, tries to get out of it, and here you guys can see I'm going to come around the outside now. There comes my front wing, and here, look, there's so much space. There's still half a car space, and Hamilton just decides I'm going to yeet Vettel over the inside curb and potentially give him damage. But that blew up in Hamilton's face. Look, honestly, guys, I know he didn't do that to give Vettel damage, but if any of those two cars should have gotten damage, it's more Vettel than Hamilton. But that is karma at its best, and Hamilton is officially no longer a factor in this French Grand Prix. You guys can see now, this is my teammate Sebastian Vettel. It is lap 4, guys, and what did I tell you guys during qualifying? The softs suck. So at the end of lap 4, I am the first car to blink, the first car of the front runners, at least. So I'm into the pit lane to strap on my first set of medium tires. I know I chose the default soft mediums at the beginning of the race, guys, but I thought maybe I'd try my luck. Maybe these softs aren't as bad as I thought, and I should have just trusted my gut. So we are out, 2.5 second pit stop. The boys can do a little bit faster than that, but it's a good average pit stop. But I would like to see 2.3 and lower. The boys have given me a 1.8 second pit stop, no, a 1.9 second pit stop before. Now we jump all the way to lap 6, guys, and as the sun shows its face, first of all, guys, I don't know what went wrong with my game here, but it struggled to render a lot of things. You guys will see some of the sponsor boards. Don't even look at the Red Bull cars, like their cars are just a big blue blob, and like some of the drivers' helmets just don't render. Don't ask me why. The game just didn't, even while I was racing, it didn't render a lot of things. I just think the amount of color, all the different different vibrant colors of the Le Castellet circuit is giving my PlayStation a bit of a hard time to render everything, so please just excuse that. But Vettel is into the pit lane 2 laps later than myself. Like I said, the sun is out. It's sun's out, buns out, but not the type of buns you're thinking. The F1 buns. Let's get the slides on. No, I'm joking. You guys already see there's Hamilton in the background, and these are the first guys after myself to pit. He's already caught up that much. Hamilton might actually still get points today. That Mercedes is really an animal, but he's gonna have to do soft, medium, hards because he's not gonna stretch those mediums far enough to go onto a second set and finish the race. So Hamilton is, I think he's forced onto a hard tire strategy. The end of lap 7, guys. Here is Bottas and Ocon, the 2 race leaders, into the pit lane. Bottas gets held up a bit by Sergio Perez there in the racing point, but you guys can see Ocon is just, he's besting this. Like, Ocon at this stage is truly untouchable. And guys, if he wins this race, I mean, that speaks volumes for Renault. And I mean, remember my rule is with the F1 game. If I win a championship with the team, with the drivers, I have to move teams. So even if I don't win the constructors, if I really want to win the constructors with the team, I can really stay an extra season, but I don't like to do that. I want to do a double whammy and move on. And I'm not going to lie, Renault, if this is their pace going into season 3, it's going to be very tempting for me not to sign Renault if I win the championship. Otherwise, my loyalty stays with Ferrari. But Ocon at this stage, there's nothing Bottas can do. He's blitzing Valtteri Bottas. And that is just, I mean, did you guys just see that overtake he made on the Williams? Exiting the second corner, as we've actually got Kevin Magnussen, who is now out of this Grand Prix. It's a very sad day. So Charles Leclerc is the only harsh driver left in this GP, flying the flag for the American team. But you guys can see now, like, you guys can honestly understand why I'm considering Renault. Look, it's still a long season to go, and anything can happen. You can have freaking Haas upgrading their car like crazy, and that's the fastest car come the end of season 2. But I need to think about my future, because as you guys know, the championship at this stage, as Carlos Sainz makes a beautiful move there on Max Verstappen at the virtual safety car restart. GG's Carlos. That was a beautiful, sensational move on the Red Bull driver. Guys, let's keep an eye on the screen while everything is happening. This is now all the front runners, including myself, getting past the back markers. And by the way, I jumped Bottas in the pit lane, so it's me now in net P2 chasing after Ocon, but Ocon came out, as you guys saw, in between the 2 Williams drivers, and he got past the Williams driver with 2 corners into it. So Ocon is bolting. Now, back to the story. I need to think about my career, guys. Remember, I've driven now, if we go back to F1 2018, I've driven Toro Rosso. Won a championship for Toro Rosso in season 2. Didn't go farther in that game because that's the year I decided to start my YouTube channel, and it was nearly the time for F1 2019's cycle to begin. Now, then you head to F1 2019, where I drove for Haas and McLaren, and now I'm in Ferrari. So it depends on what the other teams offer me with the contract negotiations. Look at that at the inside of George Russell there at the flat-out right-hander. Oh my word, what a move. Oh my goodness. I think I gave George Russell a bit of a heart attack there. Granted, that was terrifying. And you guys can see I got past Latifi, and he just got a terrible corner exit, and now he's under pressure from Leclerc and Bottas, but obviously Bottas is going to blitz these guys in that Merc. That Merc is untouchable, guys. Okay, not. Despite Ferrari and clearly Renault, this Merc is untouchable by other teams. So, yeah, Bottas is still in the driver's seat when it comes to passing the back markers. Now, once again, guys, so I've never driven for Renault, never driven for Williams, never driven for Alfa Romeo, never driven for Mercedes, never driven for Red Bull, and that's about that. That's 5 teams. So who else have I not driven for? No, I have driven for, well, now AlphaTauri, they were Toro Rosso. I'm missing someone. Let's quickly. Mercedes, no. Ferrari, currently. McLaren, yes. Racing Point. Never driven for Racing Point. We've got him. So it's Racing Point, Mercedes, Red Bull, Williams, Alfa Romeo, and Renault. Never driven for those teams, guys. So there's a lot of options for me to expand my career. And yeah, look, guys, my dream was to drive for McLaren and Ferrari. And yes, I was at McLaren for only 1 season as a loan unit. But you never know. I might decide, after 5 seasons of being from going from a Ferrari junior driver to driving for the midfield Ferrari team, winning a championship for that team, getting loaned to McLaren for a season, and now driving for the team in Formula 1. I might decide to terminate my contract with Ferrari and, go somewhere else, but we'll see. If I don't stay with Ferrari, but I stay within the Ferrari program, I've got two choices, Haas or Alfa Romeo, who at this stage, they don't look good. So we'll see where things stand at the end of the season. I think if I leave Ferrari, Charles Leclerc is going to be straight back into that Ferrari seat, in my opinion, but we will see what happens. So guys, back to the action actually. I wanted to throw that in there so you guys actually had something to think about come the end of the season, especially if I win the championship. And also guys, let's say I don't win the Drivers' Championship, but we win the Constructors. Same rule applies, I have to switch teams. If I win a championship, no matter whether it's the Drivers or the Constructors, I need to say arrivederci. Unless I really want to win, both with a certain team. But you guys can see there's overtakes flying left and right. I am trying to catch Esteban Ocon, but guys, Esteban is he's in a league of his own. And now from the race lead, Pierre Gasly, the second Frenchman, he's actually on a one-stop who was leading this race, is now diving into the pit lane. These are the one-stoppers, not the two-stoppers. And at this stage, Gasly is in a prime position to actually, guys, I wouldn't say win this race, but get a solid podium. And it's the French Grand Prix. If Ocon wins, it's going to be, like I said already, a French driver winning the French Grand Prix for a French team. And if Gasly's on the podium, it's going to be a second French driver on the podium at the French Grand Prix. It's going to be the Frenchmen are going to be in abundance in France. You would think that, but not when it comes to the F1 grid. There was a lot of French and France and F's in one sentence. But okay, we now jump on board with Lewis Hamilton. With Valtteri Bottas, guys, as he is actually going for a move on myself. Bottas up the inside of the back straight, and that's a sensational move there from the Finn. But guys, now I've saved up a lot of ERS actually. Bottas caught me napping there because I didn't apply deploy overtake mode down the straight, so he just caught me napping. I didn't realize how close he was. Through the flat-out right-hander, overtake mode still engaged into this never-ending right-handed hairpin where the left side of the car, those tires scream through that corner. Sorry, I ran out of air there. That was weird. But yeah, guys, let's run to the top 10. Esteban Ocon is leading the way, but still has a stop to go. In P2, you've got myself defending from Valtteri Bottas in P3. You guys see they did the double soft, and they're going to end on mediums. I'm going to do soft, mediums. I'm driving safe. My teammate Sebastian Vettel is in P4, solid P4. Thanks, Sebastian, for the support. Then you've got Lance Stroll in P5, driving a fantastic race for Racing Point. Then you've got Pierre Gasly, the first one-stopper in P6. You've got Max Verstappen in P7, also a one-stopper. Then in P8, I just double-checked it to make sure he is in P7, guys. Then P8, you've got the first McLaren of Carlos Sainz, one-stopper. Second McLaren, Lando Norris, one-stopper. And finally, you've got Kimi Raikkonen, but he still has to make a second stop, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, one-stopper. So Raikkonen is in the points, guys. So now, the two stoppers, myself, Ocon, Bottas, or the three main characters here, we're going to have a fight on our hands as we come out of the pit lane. But guys, like I said, Ocon was on a mission. You guys are going to see I'm staying out another 2 laps because I did I'm on the mediums. Obviously my mediums hold longer than the softs, so I was trying to go for an overcut here. But Ocon and Bottas, Mercedes are basically copying Renault's strategy. It's a little bit unique that Mercedes copy another team's strategy. Usually they've got their own unbeatable, unbreakable strategy, but for once they're not the team leading the way. Then you've got, here goes Ocon. He's out of the pit lane. Well, it's not Mercedes or Ferrari. So Ocon is out. He's ahead of Verstappen. So guys, the only person he needs to catch and overtake is Gasly. So, in my opinion, Ocon's won this race. He's won this race. He's driven faultlessly, and he's in P2. Bottas is behind both the McLarens. Now, we jump onto 2 laps later. Oh, no, this is actually the next lap where my teammate Sebastian Vettel, because Jeff asked me for a strategy change, and because Vettel was further behind, and there was the potential for Vettel to catch Bottas, I gave Vettel the go-ahead to pit a lap before me, guys, because I, in any case, knew my tires were going to be newer than Bottas and Ocon's tires. Not that I think I was going to catch Ocon, but I knew that I was still going to be able to get Bottas, and I had a lot of ERS and fuel left, so for this final lap before I came into the pit lane to pit, I was going to push like an absolute stabbed rat. Now my plans to get Vettel closer to Bottas did not work because he is so far behind Bottas. He is going to settle into P4 at best. I mean, that's if he catches all the one-stoppers. Now here goes Bottas on the first McLaren of Lando Norris, right around the outside of the young Brit, and that is now Bottas up a position. We now jump onto my POV for my pit stop, guys, and I'm very curious to see where I'm going to come out. We enter the pit lane. Now, I'm going to jump onto the POV of Ocon, who's already caught up to Gasly. Fresh mediums compared to old hards, and the hards are already terrible around this track. I don't know why people try one-stopping. It's just a really, really, really tedious strategy. But Gasly seems up for it. So Ocon, I think he's going to go for the move now, guys, if I have to be honest. He's not close enough to Gasly just yet, but back straight, he's got it. So you've got Verstappen now on P3. There I am, I'm P5. Ooh, I'm going to come up behind Bottas, but I'm slot in between him and Norris. But now I'm on the fresher tires. And guys, for this final stint, the Ferrari is phenomenal on light fuel. I don't know what it is with that car, but when it comes to light fuel, the Ferrari is a beast. So at the end of the race, I always know that I'm strong, especially at tracks where there's a lot of high-speed sections. The Ferrari just, it goes. And at this stage of the race, I feel that I can actually match Mercedes. So here comes Albon, the second Red Bull, on Kimi Räikkönen, and right behind them is Daniel Ricciardo. Guys, Ricciardo is nowhere in this Grand Prix, and his teammate is winning the race. You guys saw he overtook Gasly. Ocon is leading the French Grand Prix. We jump back to my POV, guys. You guys can see here, Bottas just, I don't think he's got ERS or fuel to play with, guys. But up the inside, once again at that corner. But not as hectic as the first one because Russell squeezed me heavily there. But we are up into P5, now chasing after the Spaniard of Carlos Sainz. We go onto the very next lap, onto the back straight once again. And I've already caught up to Sainz, guys. The new mediums felt fantastic. And now my mediums were newer than Bottas's new mediums. So I could actually push away. 2 laps might not sound a lot to you. Trust me, it's a lot on this track. There you guys can see Vettel is trying to get past the second McLaren of Norris, but at this stage is not yet successful. But it's not going to be long until Vettel gets past there, guys. The Renault power unit in the back of the McLaren is not as good as the one in the Renault itself. So unlike in real life, in the game, Renault are still flying the flag for the Renault-powered cars, which are only Renault and McLaren. So there you guys can see now... Vettel finally gets past Norris. Here comes Bottas, who's going to make a move on Sainz, who I just passed a few moments ago. Here goes Bottas on the outside. Carlos Sainz on the inside. I'm driving my own race here ahead of them. Beautiful move right around the outside. Goes the fin. And that is now Bottas into P5. P4? P5? No, he's in P5. I'm in P4. You guys see, this is now actually Ricciardo trying to make a move around the outside of Albon. Because once again... Ricciardo is supposed to be Renault's team leader, but he's fighting with Red Bull's second driver for, I think, P10, if I'm honest. So, Ricciardo, beautiful move there on Albon. You guys can see, this is now Vettel, who has finally caught up to Sainz. So he's also moving up in the world around the outside. Poor Carlos Sainz thought he was going to come away with a P4 here, and he is now back down to P8. So, McLaren, they tried their luck, didn't work out for them. We now jump on board here with Ricciardo, who has actually caught up to Norris. So Ricciardo has found some extra pace in that Renault, but too little too late. In my opinion. You guys see now I'm right behind Verstappen, who was actually right behind Pierre Gasly, guys. So Gasly and, Verstappen was catching Gasly and I was catching Verstappen. What a move around the outside of Max Verstappen there. I pinched Max a bit to the curb there, but he let me go. So he's trying to come back at me now into T3. It's a very tight squeeze between myself and the Red Bull. Guys, once again, don't look at the Red Bull being a big blob of blur. Not my fault, just my pleasure not rendering everything here at the French GP. I do apologize for that. Now we are right behind Pierre Gasly. So we are now into P3. We are back onto the podium, but I can get P2 here from Pierre Gasly if I just settle into this and I don't do something stupid. So here we go, you can see into the chicane at the end of the back straight. It's a right into a left. The left part of the chicane turns into a tiny hairpin. And now once again, we're going to go for another move up the inside, maybe of this corner. Oh no, we opt for the outside, but look at the speed of the Ferrari. Right around the outside, we leave Gasly the space, but there's nothing that the Frenchman can do about that. And we hoist the flag still very high for the Italian team Ferrari. There we go. I'm sure the French fans are not going to be happy about that, but I mean, I need to keep my championship hopes alive, guys, and this championship can change in the blink of an eye if I have 2 or 3 bad races. So I need to stay on it. Max Verstappen takes now the final podium position away from Gasly as he is now into P3. Poor Gasly on those hards is falling like a stone, just like Sainz and Norris. It's a gamble. The gamble didn't pay off. Ocon starts the final lap of the French GP. In the lead, we are P2, Verstappen P3, Gasly P4, Bottas P5, Vettel is in P6. You've got Sainz in P7 with Ricciardo in P8. So Sainz still P7, actually not P8. Excuse me for mistaking that previously, guys. But Sainz is still driving a solid race in P7. Ricciardo P8, Norris P9, and Albon is in P10. Now, guys, back to this battle. Poor Gasly, guys. I think these hards were also starting to reach to reach the end of their lifetime, because Gasly was really struggling for grip. And as you guys can see, he has held up Bottas and Vettel now. Well, actually, I think Vettel caught Bottas, but it's the final lap, and Gasly might not even finish this race in the top 5. Here goes Bottas to the inside as we head towards the chicane. Bottas is the move is done and dusted even before we get to the chicane. You guys can see Gasly he doesn't have the grip to have a good exit speed. We now take a look here at Albon. Will he go for the move on Norris to take away P9 from the McLaren driver? The 2 racing points behind are actually holding up the second Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. What did I say, guys? He's not going to get points today. The 2 racing points are having a nice battle. And look at Sebastian Vettel right around the outside of the exact same spot where I did it to Gasly. Gasly's race did not end as well as he could. But guys, for the French Grand Prix, a French driver is going to win for a French team. Esteban Ocon, driver of the day. You have blitzed the field. What a drive. And guys, I have to say after this, and with Ricciardo's performance, I am seriously considering a drive at Renault for next season. But let's see what happens for the rest of the season. It's P2!
Can't complain about that one. That was an excellent drive.
Another superb French Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today, and the results speak for themselves.
As we can see, it's time for the podium, and I can see the Renault team underneath our commentary box going crazy as their drivers walk out. It was a great win, and it means a great deal to this team. So, let's review the drivers' standings. Parker increases their championship lead. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari continued to extend the gap at the top of the table. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
Renault, 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 Ocon, Ocon, Ocon. Guys, I honestly hope that this is not a one-time shine for Renault in this season. That car throughout the weekend that you guys obviously didn't see now, but in practice, that car was constantly between myself and the Mercedes, well, between Ferrari and Mercedes. They were blitzing McLaren and Racing Point, which at this stage, the McLaren is not a better car, but the Racing Point definitely is. The Racing Point is the 3rd best car on the grid according to paper, and yet Renault just absolutely spanked them. Ocon is now 5th in the Drivers' Championship ahead of both the Red Bulls. That speaks volumes. They are only 18 points behind Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. So Renault have really pulled their socks up, and can you guys blame me to say that I consider them for Season 3 if I win the championship? Well, the constructors or the drivers. At this stage, it looks like we at Ferrari are going to take both, which would be the first for me ever to win a drivers and a constructors championship for a team, by the way. That's why I'm pushing so hard this season. We maintain our podium run. We haven't yet been off the podium, guys, so that is maintained. And besides myself having a phenomenal race, especially fighting the whole time with Bottas throughout that race, Bottas was a constant freaking pain in my rear, but it was a fantastic race. I think if you put Hamilton into this mix, it would have been still very interesting. It would have been more interesting than it was. I think Hamilton was on it this weekend, guys, and I think he would have overtaken Bottas and tried to go for Ocon. But in my opinion, Ocon was the untouchable one this weekend. That was the fastest car on this track this weekend. That Renault was the fastest car on race pace, and we couldn't touch him. So, congratulations to Esteban Ocon for his first ever win in Formula 1 at his home Grand Prix for a French team. You can't get it any better than that. But guys, that has been this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. And as I say that, I see how I made a corner cut. But it's okay. Guys, please check out the links in the description down below. Not just my social medias, but also me and iiTzAssassins' second channel. Go check it out. It's a very nice and fun-filled channel. We're going to be posting a lot on that channel this year, so keep an eye there. If you want to give this video or my channel a shout out, please use my social medias in the description down below to tag me in the post or the story. I will give you a shout out in a future video as well as on my social medias. If you haven't done it yet, I don't know what's going to earn it, but drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you a quick 2 seconds. And finally, if this is your first time feasting your eyes on TurboFox Racers and you've made it to this point of the video, I do not know why you are not yet subscribed. Make sure to ding that bell to never miss a future episode here on TurboFox Racers. Guys, this season is still going to have a lot of juicy twists and turns, and I honestly can't wait. I'm going to keep the Italian flag high for my favorite team in Formula 1 history, for the Tifosi. You guys see it in my intro every time. For the Tifosi, we do it for Ferrari. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Remember all those fancy stuff. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all next time. Cheers!